Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this popsicle design, which was designed by me. So I've been wanting to make a popsicle like this since last year, but I didn't end up getting the time to, at least in the summertime. I did try to make one of these, but it didn't work out. So this is supposed to be like a 2-stick popsicle, you know, those popsicles that have like 2 sticks. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, I finally made one that I'm happy with, like how it looks and everything. So yeah, here he is. It's pretty simple design, it's just supposed to look like a popsicle, but I absolutely love it, and it's summertime, so I thought this was the perfect time to put it out. Band-wise, I don't know how many bands it takes. I forgot to count again before starting filming, so if you want to know the band count, it's going to be in the description. My guess is it's probably around 150. My guesses are always off, but I would say it's probably around there. And you actually don't need too many colors for this guy, you just need whatever color you want your popsicle, a color for the sticks, and then if you want to do the face, you can do the face. But yeah. I feel like it's kind of hard to tell on this guy. Let me see. I have a red one that's half finished. You can kind of see the shape better on this guy. It looks better in real life. I don't know why my camera's kind of not doing it right. But yeah, I haven't put sticks on this one yet, so that's why I'm just showing you this one. But yeah. So I guess we'll get started. Of course, you're going to need a hook. I have my double-ended hook, but you don't need a double-ended hook. You only need one end, so you can use a crochet hook or Rainbowloom hook, whatever you have. But today I'll be using my double-ended hook. You're going to need a C-clip or something to mark your rows with. I'm going to be using a C-clip today. And then for the popsicle color today, I'm going to be using orange. And then the sticks, I'm just going to use some color of peach. I haven't gotten the stick color yet, but I'll be using some kind of peach for the stick color. And yeah, I think that is it. So the pattern, as always, will be in the description. Like I said, with the band count, my Instagram, all that's in the description. And yeah, I'm just going to pick up some bands and then we'll get started. It did take me a while to figure out how to make this popsicle because I really wanted it to have like the indent between like the two popsicle pieces, and it took me a while to figure out how to do that, and it's actually interesting how I ended up deciding how to do that. Well, it's not interesting, but it's like, I don't know, I didn't think that's how I would thought, like, when I first started trying to design it, I didn't think that's how I would do it, but it worked out, so. And it's not too complicated. I don't know if I said the difficulty of this design, but I don't think it's too hard, so, yeah. Okay. Once we get my camera to focus, we'll get started. So to start, we're going to double a cap band on our hook. So we're going to wrap it around like that one time. So it's 2 times around the hook. And then we're going to chain up 2. So we're going to pull a band through everything on our hook, both ends back on. Then we'll pull another band through everything on our hook and both ends back on. Like that. And now what we're going to do is we are going to be, hold up, did I do this right? Okay, I did. I was iffy because it looked a little short, but yeah. We gotta trust my pattern. Past me knows what they were doing. Okay, so we're going to be doing basically 5 stitches on the end, so each of these ends are going to have 5 stitches in it, and then this one in the middle is going to have 4, but the way we do the 4 stitches is there'll be 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then both of the ends have 5. So we're going to start by putting 5 stitches in this first chain. So we're going to pull the band through everything on our hook, both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop. Like that. Then we're going to go back in through this first chain here. We're going to pull a band through just the chain, so not this last loop. Put both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then you're going to push this loop from last time over as well. Like that. So like I said, we want to have, sorry, I'm trying to get closer. We want to have 5 stitches in this first loop, so we have 2, so we need to do 3 more. So we'll pull a band again through just the chain, both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then push this loop from last time over as well. Then we do that 2 more times. So 1, and then 2. Like that. I feel like my camera's blurry, I'm so sorry. There we go, now it's focused. So we should have 5 stitches in this first chain here, and if you lost count, you can always count by starting with the one on your hook. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Now that we have 5 in this one, we're going to put 2 in the next chain, then we do 5 on the end, and then we do 2 on this side, if that makes sense. So we're going to put 2 in this chain, so 1, and then 2. And then we're going to go into this cap band. Well, it should be our cap band, yeah, our cap band. And we're going to put 5 stitches in this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That. And then we're going to put 2 stitches on the other side of this chain. So 1, and then 2. And then you should be back at this first section here. So just to recap what we did, we put 5 in this, well, we have 2 on this side, then we have 5, then we did 2, and then we did the 5. So once you did that, you're going to go in through this first stitch or loop here, pull the band through just that loop, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well, and we'll be putting our C-clip on this one. Like that. So now if we count around, we should be at 14 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like that. So that was the first part. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I always feel like when we do these like start bit with the chain things, it gets a little confusing. But you can kind of see there's 5 stitches in this one, then there's 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then we have 5. Okay, so for the next row we're going to do a row of normal, but we're also going to, hold up, I'm trying to do too many things at once. But it's also technically a half row, so we can get this like little thing. It's kind of hard to see. But basically we're only going to be grabbing the inner half of the loops. So we're doing a row normal, but we're only grabbing the inner half of the loops when we do the stitches. And I'm just picking up bands real quick and then I'll show you. Yeah. Okay. So we actually need to redo this first stitch because I forgot to do the half row bit, so let's just undo this first stitch real quick. Okay, and then I'll show you what I mean. So basically we're doing single stitches all the way around, but instead of going through the whole loop, we're only going to go through this first, like the inner part of the loop, and then we just make a stitch on that. And I undid the one that had the C-clip on it just because I want the first stitch to be like only on the inner half, and I didn't do that. But when we go to the next one, I'll show you again. So like I said, normally we would go through the whole loop, so you go through both. But because we are doing like a half row kind of thing, well, I don't know, I call it a half row, but technically it's just like single stitches all the way around, but we only grab the inner half of each loop. I don't know. It's how I write it though. But so instead of going through the whole thing, we only go through the inner part, and then we just make a stitch on that. And we just do this all the way around. So we're only grabbing the inner part and then making a single stitch. And at the end of this row we should still be at 14 loops. The only thing we're doing different is we're only grabbing the inner half of the loops. Oops. There we go. Like that. We just do this all the way around. All the way around. And you know, this design is actually pretty simple because it's going to get repetitive after this row. So we're just doing single stitches all the way around, only grabbing the inner half. Like that. And then once we get to the one with the C-clip on it, we're going to go through the whole loop again. So once we get to the one that has a C-clip on it, we're going to go through the whole loop, and then make a stitch. And then we'll move our C-clip up. And like I said, we should still be at 14 loops, so if we count around, we should have 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like that. And now it should want to go like up like this. Yes, like that. Okay, so like I said, now it's going to get pretty repetitive. So we are going to do 7 rows normal, so we're going to do 7 rows of single stitches, and at the end of each of these rows you should still be at 14 loops. So I'm just going to pick up some bands. I'll probably do like 2 rows with you, and then I'll go off camera to do the rest, because if I did all 7 rows on camera, this tutorial would be really long. I don't know what's up with my nose right now. Suddenly it's like itchy, and I'm like, ugh. But chooses the worst time to be itchy too. I'm like mid-tutorial, but I think it's because the air conditioning's on. But yeah, so we're just doing a row of single stitches all the way around. So this is row 1. Like I said, we had to do 7. But yeah, you know, I've been dying in our house because, like, I don't know, well, most of you guys probably don't know this because you don't know me in person, but I am like a naturally really, really cold person. Like, I just get cold so easy. And my family, I don't know what's up with them this summer, but they have had the AC and it's been on like high, and I'm just like freezing all the time. And then my family's like, why don't you dress warmer? And I'm like, it's not the winter. It doesn't make sense, because then I go outside and it's like 100 degrees. It's just cold in our house. But yeah, I've been freezing. It's just so cold. I don't know. I know there's some people who love it when like the AC's it's like so cold in their house. I am not one of those people. I get cold so easy. Once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has the C-clip on it, and you'll move it up. So that was row 1 of single stitches. So if you count around, you should be at 14 still. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So like I said, you have to do... I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't know what's happening suddenly. I feel like I need to sneeze. And also like blow my nose, but I don't want to do that while filming. And this camera, I hate that it doesn't have a pause button. Alright, I had to pause to blow my nose because my nose was just like getting so drippy randomly. And I swear it's because of the AC. I don't know why my family has it so cold. But that was row 1 of 7 rows of just normal single stitches. So I'm going to do one more row on camera with you, and then I'm going to go off camera to do the other 5 rows. So we just keep doing it. We just do single stitches all the way around. But what was I gonna say? It was funny because me being cold right now just made me think of when I went to Paris, and well, Europe, like a month ago. It's already gonna be 2 months. I can't believe it. But when I went to Europe, because I messaged my group before, because I looked at the weather and I was like, I'm gonna freeze, aren't I? So I was like, maybe, because you know how weather feels different some places, like 100 degrees is gonna feel different depending on where you are because of like humidity and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe it seems like it's gonna be cold. It wasn't cold, to be fair. It was gonna be like 70s, but I freeze in 70s. I'm just such a cold person. But so I met I'm dying. I don't know why. So I messaged my group like, are any of you guys worried that it's gonna be kind of cold? And they were like, nah, it's gonna be fine. So I was like, fine. So I just took a hoodie, and like, of course I brought pants because I also took shorts, but I brought pants in case I was freezing. And yeah, I was cold, especially in Paris. It was so cold and rainy. And it was funny because I had a sweater, like a flannel, and I was still freezing, and everyone else in my group had like no jackets and they were completely fine, and I was like, I was so cold. And it was funny because we actually had to stop and buy me a hoodie because I was that cold. Yeah. Anyways, once you get to the one with the C-clip, you'll just take it off that band and move it up to this one, and that'll be your second row of single stitches. So I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna do the other 5 rows, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. So I'm just gonna go do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I finished doing the 7 rows, and it looks like this right now. It's looking pretty good. And yours should be looking something like this too, but if you lost track of the rows, let me show you how you can count them. So if you lost track of your rows, the way you can count it is you could tell that this is the half row right here. I don't know why my hand looks like it's shaking. Why are you doing that hand? But this will be the half row, and then you're going to count one. Well, let's start here, because you can tell that's the half row because it's on the half stitch. Then you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you kind of just count the ones that are like, I don't know how to explain it. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know, man. I hope that helped, though. If not, if you have one more row, it's not a big deal. Your popsicle will just be a little longer or shorter, depending on which way you lost count. But now we're going to do something kind of weird. I think it's best to do it now. So the way I got it to look like this, so it has like the little like ridge, I guess, is we want to tie the back and the front together, and I think now is going to be the best time to do it. So you can kind of tell where the middle of your popsicle is. And there'll be these stitches like right down the middle. There's about 4 of them, so I could see this one. And you're just going to want to tie it to the stitch in the back. So there'll be a stitch in the back. It's in like the exact same spot, and you're going to want to tie them together. So we'll come out. Oops. So you're going to go straight back, and then you're going to go out, and then you're going to come around the stitch. I don't know how to explain it. Like this, so you're around the 2 stitches, the one in the front and the one in the back. And then you're just going to tie a band around it. Oops. And I'll show you again in case you're confused, but this is how we get the ridge. You tie it together like that. So like I said, here's our next one right here. And if I stick my hook through, there's basically one in the same spot right in the back. If you go through straight, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we went through. We're going to go around that stitch on this side and then come out this side. So you can see it's around those 2 stitches, and we're just going to tie a band around these 2. We're basically just tying the middle bit together to give it the little, like, I don't know, this like ridge in the middle. This is the best way I found to do it. And you're just tying the back and then the front stitch together. I wouldn't think too much about it. The way I do it is I just see that this is my stitch in the middle. I go out through the back. I come back in. Also, I'm sorry if you hear my mother yelling. I don't know where she's going, but sounds like she's leaving the house. But we tie it together. Like that. And I'll usually tie this one at the bottom together too. It's just I do it last because I find it easiest to do these 3 middle ones first. And then I'll tie the bottom one. Also kind of hard to see the bottom one, but you'll tie this bottom one together. Like that. So you should have 4. I don't tuck them in yet. I just leave them like that. Also, now's a good time to stuff it a bit if you want. So we're going to stuff it, because the next part we're going to be doing is making these 2 top bits, and it gets hard to stuff after that, so we're going to stuff it a bit right now too. So I'll just add some stuffing. It's kind of hard to stuff now that the middle's tied together. And you don't want to overstuff it, because I think the red one I accidentally overstuffed, so don't do that. But you're just going to basically stuff, because now we tied it together in the middle, you should be only able to stuff like one side at a time. Oh yeah. You know, I don't know if I stopped on a weird spot about the Paris thing. I have so many stories though from my trip to Europe, and I want to do a video making a collage with some of the stuff I got from over there and then talking about stories, so hopefully soon. I'm trying to finish up some projects that are currently like on my desk, as well as catch up on tutorials, because I felt so bad when I got sick. And then like my tutorials, because I was supposed to be putting some out in the next week, I ended up not doing anything, so I'm just trying to catch up on all this first, and then I'm going to do that video. But yeah. Just stuff in my popsicle. But yeah. It's funny though, because I was literally fine the whole trip. The only day I was somewhat like not having a good time was in Paris, and it was because I was wet and cold. And one of the things that I'm just talking while I stuff this guy because it's taking me a second to stuff him for some reason. And I'm gonna be off camera to stuff him, but one of the things that I was shocked on, because like we got so wet that one day in Paris, like it just rained so much. And I thought, oh, my shoes will totally be dry by the next morning. I only brought one pair of shoes. And I'm used to, because I live in Texas, so usually, even when it's somewhat like when it's like 80 degrees, you can have something dry in like an hour. So I was shocked when I woke up the next morning and my shoes were still wet. That was fun. I was like, gosh dang it. I guess I didn't think that the desert, like, everything just dries easily. I think it's a desert thing. Or like a hotter place thing, because like everything was like my hoodie that got wet when it was raining too was not dry the next day. So then I was like, oh my god, it was annoying. But yeah, yep, I think we're about done stuffing. Yep. Okay, so your popsicle should look like this now, and now you should be able to see the ridge and everything. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is. So now we're going to put our hook back in, and I still don't tuck these in until we're completely done, so just leave them hanging. It's fine. But now, what we are going to do is we are only going to stitch around half of this. So we're going to do a row of single stitches, but it's only going to be around the first 7 stitches. So this, well actually, we're going to go across kind of, so we're going to count backwards 7 stitches. So we'll start here, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on this stitch number 7, we're going to put our hook through and we're just going to do a single stitch. Like that. And now we're just going to do a row of single stitches until we get to the C-clip, but we're only going around this little bit now. So we're doing a row of single stitches and just around this bit. Okay, and then we'll move our C-clip. Well, we can actually take the C-clip out at this point, but if you count around, you should be at 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now you're gonna probably want to add a tiny bit more stuffing, and then we're gonna decrease everything until it's closed. And I'm adding stuffing off camera because I always have such a hard time stuffing on camera. But we're just gonna add a little more stuffing. Just a tiny bit. And then now we're just going to decrease everything until it's closed. And then we'll do the other side. I hope that part was easy and wasn't confusing. I always wonder if I'm explaining well. I always try to explain my best though. So hopefully your popsicle's coming out okay. But now we're just going to decrease absolutely everything until it is closed. And what a decrease is you're going to grab the inside part of one loop and the back part of the next loop, and then you just make a stitch on this. So I'll show you again. Inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. And we just keep doing this all the way around until we can't decrease anymore. So I think the next one for me is going to be my last decrease. So once we have that decrease up on our hook, we're going to pull a band through everything on our hook. And then push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then we will tuck our tail in. Like that. And you do kind of have to squish it a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, like that. And half of our popsicle is done. So now we need to do the other half, and we're going to do the exact same thing. And then we'll be done. We just have to do the sticks. See, I think this design is fairly easy. I think the only confusing part is like tying the middle bit together and then this top part, but it's not too bad. So there should be 7 loops left. So if we count, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll just start right here, and we could put a C-clip on this one. We'll make a single stitch. we'll put our C-clip on this one. And then we'll just go around until we get to the C-clip, doing single stitches. So we'll just go around. Oh my god. Where's the other part of this loop? There it is. We'll just do single stitches all the way around. And then once you did single stitches on 7 loops, if you count, you should have 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why don't I have 7? 1, 2, 3. Did I miss one? Hold up. Why do I only have 6? 1, 2, 3. I only have 6. That's not right. I missed a loop. So don't do what I did. I missed a loop back here. So let me just undo a bit and then stitch on the loop. You should have 7. And if you don't, you might want to check if you missed a loop, because I missed a loop. It's just sometimes hard to see on my camera, so I think that's why I missed a loop, but we're fine. So now, if you count, you should have 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then if you have 7, we're going to go in through this loop on this side, the one with the C-clip on it. We'll just make a stitch. And we can take our C-clip out at this point, because now we're just going to decrease everything until it's closed. But first I'm going to add a tiny bit more stuffing, just so the tip has some stuffing. And then we'll be about done with this popsicle. Okay. There we go. So like I said, now we'll decrease everything until it's closed. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we can't decrease anymore. So we just do the same thing. We grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and just make a stitch. And we do this until we can't decrease anymore. So we're going to do inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop. And once you have the last decrease you could do up on your hook, you're just going to take a band, pull it through everything on your hook, make a stitch, tie it tight, and then you'll just hide your tail into your popsicle. You know, I forgot to ask you. I was going to ask you guys at the start of this tutorial, but I think you know what popsicles these are based off of. It's like the basic generic pack of popsicles that everyone, I feel like, has eaten in their lives at some point. But do you guys have a favorite flavor? Because there's like the green, there's the yellow, there's orange, purple, and red usually. So like, do you have a favorite flavor? Because I honestly think my favorite flavor of these is orange. So yeah, orange or yellow. My siblings always fight for the blue and the green though, so let me know what your favorite flavor is. I'm just curious, even though I think everyone just likes the blue one. So there is one last spot we do have to tie together, so if my camera would focus, cooperate. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna tie this stitch right here to the stitch that's in back of it. So we'll go through and we'll tie them together. Now we're done. So you should have 5 spots that you tied together in the middle. Every single time I've made this popsicle, I've always done 5 ties in the middle. So you should have about 5. And now that we're done, we can tuck in all of these tails. So I'm just going to tuck in all the tails really quickly. I don't know. I'm not tucking it on camera. I hate tucking it on camera, and it takes twice as long for no reason. But yeah, do you guys have a favorite flavor of these popsicles? I think the orange is the best. I like the orange and yellow. But it's funny because my siblings eat popsicles more than me. And we always have them at my grandma's house. And you could tell what flavors they don't like because there's always only the red, the purple, and then the orange left, which is fine because I like the orange, but I'm like, dang, you guys just so rude. They never eat those colors. And literally always by the time I find the popsicles, the green, the blue, and then the yellow are always missing, so it's just funny. Okay. Sorry, I'm just squishing my popsicle off camera. So, now your popsicle should be looking something like this, and all we have left to do is put a face on it, and then do the sticks. So I'm gonna go grab the stuff I need for the face, and I'm gonna get the color I need for the sticks, because I forgot. Okay, so I got everything I need for the face. So we have our cheeks, and then some eyes, and I brought a string so we could put our beads onto a band. So we're gonna get our bead, we're gonna string it onto the band like that, and then we'll put our band on the string as well, and then we fold over and go back through the bead, and we just slide it on like that. And we'll do that one more time for the other eye. You know, it's funny because I started doing this on camera because you guys used to tell me you didn't know how to do it. So I started doing it on camera. Because in my old tutorials I used to just be like, it's fine, just put your bands on your bead. But then I realized some people don't know how, so now I'm doing it in my tutorials. Even though I think most of you use safety eyes now. Go back through the bead. Just pull it on. Okay. Then how I put the face, so we're just going to pick a spot. I'm going to go right here. Just tie our eye in. And I usually don't hide the tail until I like where both of my eyes are, so I'll put the other one right here. Are his eyes crooked? Hold up. His eyes are in fact crooked. Let me adjust. See, this is why you don't tuck the tails in, because if you accidentally tie one higher than the other one, it's easier to undo, so you don't have to worry about all that. So now I'll tie the eye just one lower, because that was a little too high. It should be good then. Yeah, those are even though I don't know if that's the best eye spot. It's fine, it's fine. I'm gonna hide the tails. And then all we have to do is the stick. I don't know why I did the face before the stick. It just felt like doing the face before the stick. It's fine. Okay. There we go. And then we'll do the cheeks real quick, and then we'll do the stick. I realize I should have done the stick first, but it's too late now. So we're just going to come right under where the eye is. So right here for me. And then we'll just pull the band through. Both ends back on our hook. Push the back one over the front one and pull it tight but not too tight. And then you just hide your tail. And you'll have a cheek. That. We'll do it again on this side. So you come right under where the eye is. Pull the band through, pull it tight but not too tight, and then you just hide your tail. And then it has a face. For the mouth, in case you're wondering how I did that, I just get a hot glue and I cut a black band and then I glue it on with hot glue, and to glue it on I just put like a dot of hot glue, and then I'll set the mouth on top of it. But I'm not going to show you how to do that in the tutorial because I will 100% burn myself. So we'll just do the stick and then we'll be done. And the stick is pretty simple. So I'm just picking up some peach bands. I got some peach bands. But you can do your stick in whatever color you want. I'm just doing peach again because it's the color of sticks, or popsicle sticks, I guess. Okay. So we're going to go through right here. We'll pull 2 bands through. And put both ends back on our hook. And then we're going to chain up 3 doubled bands. So we're going to wrap a band 2 times around our hook. Pull it through. Both ends back on. So that's 1 chain. Like I said, we have to do 2 more, so we have 3 total. So we're gonna double a band on our hook, pull a band through, both ends back on our hook. We'll do one more time. Pull band through, both ends back on our hook. Here we go. So we chained up 3 doubled bands, and then we have the the 2 bands we pulled through at the start. So you should have the 2 bands you pulled through, and then 1, 2, 3 doubled bands. And then you're just gonna pull the band through everything on your hook, both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. Like that. And there's 1 stick. And then we'll do 1 more. So we'll just do the stick on the other side, and we're gonna do the exact same thing, and I'll show you again in case you're confused. But we'll come right here. We're gonna come right here. Just go in wherever you want the stick to be, basically. You'll pull 2 bands through, both ends back on your hook, and then we're gonna chain up 3 doubled bands. So we're gonna get 2 bands, double them, double them. Then we're gonna pull them through, both ends back on your hook. I'll do that again. So you'll get 2 bands, double them, pull them through everything on your hook, both ends back on. Do it one more time. Pull through, ends back on. So then you should have your 2 bands at the start, and then 3 double like chains. And you'll pull a band through everything on your hook, put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And that'll be it for the stick. And then to weave the tails in, you just kind of have to go through and just weave it in. It's kind of tedious, but it's not too bad. Also, just a note, if you're using silicone peach bands, I wouldn't recommend like doubling them. You could just chain up like 2 bands, but I think they look better when they're doubled. But yeah, if you're using silicone bands, doubling them, it does not work. I tried it one time and was like, nope. So if you're using silicone bands, I would just chain up like 2 bands instead of doing the doubling, because it's just not a good idea. Because silicone bands are kind of tighter. And I'm just weaving in this stick to kind of show you how I do it, but you kind of just weave it in, and then eventually you just pull it into the popsicle. Like that. More or less like that. I'll do the other one afterwards so the tutorial isn't too long. And the only other thing I do is I sometimes like to tie the bottom shut. So down here, I like to tie this one shut. So I'll go through right here, and I will tie it. And you don't have to do this, you can leave it. I just think it looks better if you tie this one shut. Like that. I think it just looks nicer when you do that. And you don't have to do that, I just think it looks a little bit better when you tie that one in the middle shut, because these 2 have the sticks on it, so it's fine. But yeah, so I just have to tuck that tail in, but I'm going to do it off camera and later so this tutorial isn't ridiculous amounts of long. So I think that is it for this one. If your popsicle came out okay, which hopefully it did, show it to me. I would love to see how your popsicle came out. And yeah, so subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have more tutorials coming. I didn't bring it, but I made, if you saw my Instagram, I made a push pop that I might be making a tutorial for as well. I've kind of just been making some like ice creams and stuff just because why not? Why did my camera get suddenly really dark? But yeah, and I showed this guy in my other tutorial. Oh my god, I don't have him. I want to show him to you though, so let me go grab him. Oh, and look, the push pop was like right by him too. Okay. So, but this guy is going to be getting a tutorial soon. I showed him at the end of my watermelon video, so Giant Duck is going to get a tutorial soon. Oh, he's got a hair on him. So Giant Duck. And then I also found the push pop, so his mouth fell off, ignore that, but he's a push pop, which I think is fun. So these guys might be getting tutorials soon, so subscribe if you want to see that. As always, my Instagram, Etsy, and everything are down in the description below if you want to check me out anywhere else. I always post my designs on Instagram before here, so if you want to know what's coming, you should definitely follow my Instagram. I also usually post when I'm filming and stuff, so you kind of know what tutorials are coming, so check out my Instagram if you want. Also, if you are watching this before the second week of August I would say probably after the first week of August in 2022, I am doing a summer contest that is going on, so you could check that out. I will link that video up in the iCard in case you want to check it out. But yeah, so I think that is it for this one. I hope your popsicle turned out okay, but I will see you in the next tutorial, so bye.